On tonight, Parliament divided amongst itself as Joint Committee of Energy and Lands and Forestry come under fire from some MPs over its report that recommended that there should be no review of the mining lease granted to Electrochem to mine salt in the Adansongo.
So, Mr. Speaker, I don't think that as a House, we should be entertaining this report and approving it for Electrochem to continue, unless we can say that they will, be held accountable.
We have details of all of this coming in from Parliament. We'll be speaking to the company plus the youth of the area who disagreed with the report in its initial form. We'll go back to them and ask what they feel about what Parliament is saying about this report. Now, remember, Top Story, as always, is brought to you by Telecel, Connecting Energies and Holy Insecticides, Spray and Coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Now, tonight, a joint committee of Parliament has come under fire over its report on the salt mining lease granted Electrochem in Ada. The Energy and Lands Committee recommended to the House that there should be no review of the mining lease granted the company following allegations of police and military brutalities against the indigents, leading to the death of a miner and injuries to many. The people of Ada have also complained about the lease awarded to the company, which put out many of the indigents out of their small-scale mining of salt in the area. First, listen to Chairman of the Energy Committee, Samuel Atacha, present the committee's report.
Honourable Speaker, the committee did not see any need at all to review and or tinker with the 3 mining leases ratified by this august House on the 6th day of November 2020. There was nothing at all to show. There was no illegality that the Parliament previously committed in the ratification. It is imperative that the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE, should embark upon a massive educational campaign in the salt mining area to bring the indigenous to the realization that salt is a natural mineral and not a means of livelihood in the same category of gold in the Ashanti region, petroleum in the western region, and bauxite in the eastern region.
But MP for the area, Christian Kolete Otute, who first spoke against the committee's report, decried what he described as a monopoly granted to Electrochem to mine salt in an area and that is pushing the indigents out of business.
The major concern of the people is not about the Electrochem company not taking part or having to do his work there, but it has to do, the question is 41,000 acres of land to one company. The people are wondering, how is it going to work on all this land? Why can't we sublet it, let different companies come in so that we can have competition? There is going to be a monopoly, and with that, we cannot really achieve the best, the maximum. And so far, as a member of Parliament and with the brutalities concerning the police and even the electrical company, when I go around, you can see that they are only concentrating on the already existed project area, which is called Songo Salt. So the people are not against the Electrochem's presence there. Myself, I'm for the Electrochem. But the manner in which things are going is fact a bit of concern. And if we could address those issues, we can have Electrochem working there peacefully, for which the government will benefit, my people will also benefit, and myself, I will also benefit.
So that was the MP for the area, Christian Kolete Otute. Let me take you to Parliament now and get more on this. Kweku Asante is our man in Parliament and he joins us on the phone now. Kweku, the next person to speak against the report is the MP for Odorodoni Lante Vanderpoel. What exactly was his case?
Is beginning to speak against this report that came from the Mines and Energy Committee that recommends that there should be no review of that mining lease. Neil Antivandapoy, himself an indigenous of Adam, in speaking in that capacity, says that there's been a record of military and police brutality at the behest of Electrochem against the people of Adam, for which reason he was strongly opposed to the report. And in fact, urging and inviting the people of Parliament, the members of Parliament, not to vote to adopt that report.
I'm so passionate about this because not only have we lost family members, some of our people are mutilated, disabled, and now cannot do anything. And what is even depressing me more, for such things, such criminal acts to be described as minor criminal acts. When people have been killed, people have been maimed, police and soldiers rounding up people, beating them up at the instigation of a so-called investor, you can't describe it as minor criminal offenses. Today, somebody has just taken over everything, denying the indigenous people the little that they can also harvest, mine, for their survival. And when they resist, soldiers and policemen are hired to chase them, beat them up, and even kill them. We cannot, if everybody in this house will accept this report, Mr. Speaker, I want to register my opposition to this report. And I want it reflected in the hazard that one time was somebody, a member of this house, called Neil Antivandapoy, was against this report. I totally disagree with this report.
Well, Kojo, there's even a suggestion that the lease granted to Electrical must be put on hold until the allegations of human rights abuses are fully investigated.
That came from a former Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Dominica Hine, who was commenting on the report saying that the committee had done not a very good job, and in fact had glossed over the issues of military and police brutalities against the people of Adansawo, for which reason he believes that Parliament ought to do something by asking the company to be fully investigated, for them to be fully compensate the people against whom these military and police brutalities have been measured against, even before the company should be allowed to continue mining this ore.
Mr. Speaker, what I want to underscore is that though the report of the committee has not detailed the human rights abuses that have occurred in relation to the Songo Lagoon salt exploitation by Electrochem, Mr. Speaker, various honorable members, I remember the honorable member for Ododo, the honorable Neil Antivandapoy. I also remember the honorable Otute mentioned the fact that in the course of seeking to exploit the salt resources, Electrochem or agents of Electrochem were involved either directly or indirectly in human rights abuses. This is the House of Parliament. We are enjoined by the Constitution in Chapter 5 to uphold the fundamental human rights enshrined in the Constitution. I do not think that Parliament should approve any transaction in respect of which there is evidence of human rights abuses having occurred or having been occasioned by either the state or any entity affiliated to the state or an entity that is wholly private but that is being aided by the state in order to commit human rights abuses. Mr. Speaker, I think that we should call for an investigation of the human rights abuses that have occurred, and then if we find that there were actual excesses committed by the state agents for and on behalf of Electrochem, they should be held accountable. They should pay compensation to the local communities before they should be allowed to continue the exploitation of the natural resource which is found within the community that is the subject matter of our report. So, Mr. Speaker, I don't think that as a House, we should be entertaining this report and approving it for Electrochem to continue, unless we can say that they will, be held accountable, or they will compensate the people of Songo for the human rights abuses that have occurred.
Well, Kojo, did anyone speak in favor of this report?
There were not so many of those voices, but Stephen Amwa, who is a deputy finance minister, did come in to say that the people of Adar Songo ought to know that the salt within the land in Songo does not belong to them. And in fact, the constitution says it belongs to the entire country and is held in trust by the president. He, however, agrees with members of parliament who have spoken and said that the people must be given some tract of land themselves to also mine the salt.
Mr. Speaker, as much as I agree with some of my colleagues from the other side of the political divide, that of course, in terms of having empathy for the indigenous brothers we all cherish and love most from the Adan area, we need to, as a House, help develop paradigm shifts that will ensure their inclusion in building the economic capacity of the community and the country. If we don't take care, what will happen is that Western region, they will begin to say that the oil there belongs to them, and for that matter, any decision, whether of national, international, or community interest, will not be taken care of. Mr. Speaker, if we are not careful, those from Ashanti region and Brahaf will follow suit. If we don't take care, those from Upper East will follow suit. And what will we be doing to the loss of this land in championing a cause that will bring us together and build the needed cohesion, and after collectivism, build our own country for the very good purpose of our brothers, including those from Adam. So as much as we are all trying to find a common point of convergence in dealing with this issue, I would like to suggest that probably what we can do is that any company, be large or small, that is giving the legal mandate to manage some of these state natural resources should find a way to include the community people along the value chain in terms of job creation so that they can also derive economic gains.
So that was, the one. I'm what the deputy finance minister is speaking on this. So, Kweku, how did the House decide on this matter?
And majority leaders, Dr. Kensela Tofosen and Alexander Pejamarkin, agree that there are significant disagreement, there are significant conflict that must be resolved, for which reason they believe the committee report is not complete. And of course, they also sensing from the mood of the House, knowing that if the report was probably put to a vote, the report would have been rejected, tasked the Speaker of Parliament to refer the matter back to the committee to look into it. The Speaker of Parliament also agreed that there are still significant differences that must be resolved. He is hinting that maybe Monday a decision will have to be taken before the House will go on break, but the Speaker of Parliament has deferred the decision on this for now.
I will do so on Monday after the final statements have been made. But please, don't forget that we are the representatives of the people. And one of our functions as leaders, particularly the leaders that the people are looking up to, is to facilitate the settlement of disputes. Clearly, there's a dispute. Other state institutions, personalities have been involved. And this has been going on for a long time. They seem not to be finding any solution. The dispute should not be carried to the floor, so that at the end of the day, members themselves will be seen to be part of the problem than the solution. And so, please, Monday, we wind up and then we'll give a few directives. Some of you have argued, and I've listened to you, that you've been injustice being perpetrated for a long time when you come to dealing with minerals. And so some of you are citing gold, oil, and all those things. There are instances of some injustice. That is the concern of all of us, and we want to find solutions. So why not from Parliament? We should lead to do so. With this, I defer putting the question till Monday. Yes, please.
So let's do more on this particular story by bringing in Abraham Ahoma Teta. He is a youth leader. He's a spokesperson for the Ada Songo Lagoon Association, and he joins us for more on this. Abraham, I'm grateful to you for joining. This obviously must be a great news for you.
Thank you very much. And this is what we are all expecting the parliamentarians, our fathers and our mothers at the parliament to do for us. And as they are saying, it is clear. I heard them saying that gold in Ashanti region, Western region, Northern region, and all the whatever. Yes, it is true. Last time when you heard me on Parliament, I told them that our case is a special case. That is the reason why there is a law. Our case, they have put the PNDC law on it because of the riot, because of the killing that has happened. You see, and our own is not like the way they are saying. They are defining the mineral as a natural resource on its natural state. Our own, when you come, the sea is the sea water that will turn to the salt. When you fed the sea, it can never turn to salt. But you're supposed to bring the sea. The sea has to go through a process before finally it turns to salt. So when you look at it practically, if we all of us have to do the normal practical work, to us who are here, we cannot declare our salt here as a mineral, but the salt in Daboya, because when you dig, you will see it in your hand naturally, by natural. You see, but our here is sea salt farming. But let's put that aside. Even if it is a mineral, we are saying that there was a riot and there was a killing in the 80s, 70s, 80s. And because of this, they have placed a law on the thing. So the law is not revoked. And if the law it has to be revoked before anything like this is supposed to go on, we should all be aware. And now, even as at that time, our population is very less. When they are talking of benefit, when you go from the southern here to the northern region, every home in Ghana, they are enjoying our salt. Are there no benefits for me?
So for you,
or investor produce it.
Abraham, so for you, what will make you support the operations of Electrochem in your area? Abraham, listen to me. I'm asking that. I mean, you agree with the voices from Parliament that say that something has to happen to the operation. I'm asking you, what will make you support the operations of Electrochem in your area?
Yes, the only thing will make us to support Electrochem is that Electrochem should be at a particular place that we are saying somewhere sort. He should be there. You see, the place, you don't need the whole vast land to mine, like the way goat. You say that goat is here. You go and detect goat is in the soil here, you are digging. Goat is here, you are digging. Our thing is not like that. It's only the sea water that you'll be drying it up. When you are drying, you are using the sunshine, the wind, and that you create things like ponds. That is what you are going to use to dry the sea water before it turns to salt. So Electrochem, they cannot. It can never happen. That is what we are saying. It's a serious matter. You see, that is why in the wisdom of Solomon, which is the former PNDC, they have realized that if they have to give the whole vast land to a single or two or three people, it will cause problems.
Okay, Abraham,
That is not what we are saying.
Uh-huh.
But Lateral came to take everything, including our villages. And whenever, you see, the only problem is the mining power, the lances that they gave him. The lances is so powerful that when you are holding that lances in your hand, anything within that concession, you have power over it. So whoever is passing, you will be having suspicious.
Abraham, I'm grateful. Hold the line for me. Okay, hold the line for me. Let me bring in the.
To be at some place so that we too will occupy the rest of the land, so that we too we are doing our small, and everybody will benefit.
Okay.
Whatever is happening in Ada.
All right, I'm grateful to you. Abraham, stay with me. Let me bring in Abdul Razak Adam, who is the CEO of Electrochem. He joins us also on the telephone line now. So Adam, you've heard the Abraham there. He is, one of the leaders of the Songo miners. And he says they want you to mine at a particular spot and not the entire concession. I mean, isn't this something that a company that is concerned about your social capital will consider that, yes, this could probably give us the social license for us to operate?
Okay. From the beginning.
So Abraham, hold for me. Let me listen to Adam. Yeah, Adam.
As for me,
okay, so we'll try and get Abraham to okay. So I think that the line is okay. Abdul Razak Adam is the CEO of Electrochem. Abdul, grateful to you. So to my question.
Thank you so much for having me on your show, and we are very appreciative at Electrochem. So the first thing I want to mention is the fact that what Abraham is even advocating, or for that matter, what some of our the members of the guest house are advocating, Electrochem is already doing it to begin with. That is what we call community pan concept, and the community pan concept are a deliberate attempts by Electrochem to construct a few mining pans to allow the community to coexist side by side with Electrochem.
Well, Adam, I'm sure this is not news to them. They know, but even as this is there, yes, that even as this is there, I get it. But even as this is there, they are saying that you cannot take the entire concession. They also have to control a part of it. And your initiative, even though it's good,
okay,
but they
so
want
what I'm saying
better.
Is that Electrochem is not taking entire concession.
Okay.
Electrochem is taking about 42,000 acres. But if you look at the area, it's over 100,000 acres. So there is a vast land, a vast area that is so mineable. If you stretch beyond the Pram area, coming all the way to Ada, and go beyond the East Ada, and even beyond, going to Sogakope area, there are areas that people can mine. So where their eyes is on is the fact that all of a sudden they have seen this transformational project, and they think that the capital that has come in just came in from nowhere. But it is an investment. There are loans and equity that people have put into the project.
Okay, but let me help you help. I mean,
forward.
So help us understand this. Why is Electrochem interested in where the people are mining and not where you say, quote, virgin lands that you could develop with your resources?
So when you say where the people are mining, what you notice here is that the Songo Salt project was a company that was owned by Minister of Lands and Natural Resources that has been divested to Electrochem. So if that is what they are referring to as where they are mining, I think it's neither here nor there. Because even then, under interim management committee, that concession was not where the people were mining. And on top of that, even though they were operating along the side, but they were destroying the lagoon. And on top of that, the lagoon was dry like a football pitch. Electrochem coming into existence has revamped the lagoon, pumping brine water, not only to produce salt, but also creating fishing activities for over 1,000 members of the community. So if you look at Electrochem coming in, we have rather enhanced what the indigenous salt farmers were doing than before. We know that such a project, you would always have few people that are against any form of development or transformation. And most of this association used to write proposal to international community portraying our women vulnerable and all that, taking all sorts of money that was not even going to the women.
Well, Adam, Mr. Adam. So this is the case where the people, for whom you're building this company, are saying that, well, we need much more than we've been given. And aren't you disturbed as a company about all of these mouths who speak against your operation to warrant you to do an introspection to reach a consensus with the communities?
We are doing that every single year or every single month, every single week. I have over 100 of applications that is coming to Electrochem to allocate a portion of the concession to them. And I have done that. The company has done that. We know that Electrochem alone cannot exist on the concession. Peaceful exists on the concession. So we have done that. So it's a dialogue. We met the chief, we met the youth, we met the women group, and we've asked them to come forward. Those that have come forward, we have not only allocated the lands for them, but we have spent millions of dollars to construct for them in a very responsible manner so we can coexist and not destroy the lagoon.
So out of the 40,000 acres you speak about, how many have you made available to the residents?
Okay, so let me put it in perspective. Even the 42,000 acres, Electrochem is mining on 2,750 acres. So I can tell you that there is so much land to go around for every indigenous person that wants to do responsible salt mining. So to jump over and think that just 10% of available concession is what Electrochem is working on, that we should abandon. Yes, we have the right to 42,000 acres, but that doesn't mean we are mining on 42,000 acres. So to us, this is a dialogue that we have to sit down and talk. This is a dialogue that anybody that is responsible and have the people of Ada and for that matter, Ghana at heart, should sit down and talk. If you look at salt mining that he's talking about, it was less than 38,000 metric tons in a year, right, for over 50 years. If in today's term, that is only about 60 million Ghana cedis. That is less than 60 million Ghana cedis. Okay. So that being said, Electrochem coming into being, we are ramping up production to 1 million metric tons. In today's terms, that is about $200 million US. Who in the right sense would want to do something against a company like that? And that is also to tell you that we are also in the communities involved in work that government is not even doing for them. For instance, we have put in scholarship schemes. We have built schools. We have provided the people with potable water. And on top of that, we have provided women interest-free loans. Started with 5 million cedis last year. This year, under my leadership, are ramping up to 10 million cedis. So these are the real transformation that is impacting the average person in the area. So if anybody...
Beautiful work. But would you now consider...
You can know that they are not for the nation.
Would you now consider developing, a site for the indigents to say, this is the site we've developed for you, operate on it so that we can peacefully coexist on this concession?
Exactly. I think that is what we are already doing. So I would invite the pressmen, I would even invite the lawmakers and any concerned citizen to visit the site. When you visit the site and the production site, you realize that some of the questions you are talking about, some of the things that Mr. Ahuma was talking about, Electrochem is already doing that. So we said anybody that is interested in doing responsible mining, I keep saying responsible mining because we need to protect the environment. At the same time, we need to make sure that we stem out lawlessness because it's a country of rule of law. So in that case, we sit together. What you have given us is not enough. We will give you more.
Okay.
And we have done that. There are areas that we have not even touched at all. We allow the people to coexist. Where we have issue is where people dig a borehole that our children and mothers fall inside, where they just open up the area in a way that the seawater is even getting waste, in a way that is even very dangerous for even the indigents around that area.
Now, my final question to you before I let you go. There are proposals that your lease must be put on hold until the allegations of human rights abuses are fully investigated. How do you respond to that?
So the human rights abuses are either caused by Ahuma and Asla and what have you, because they are attacking their own. Every employee of Electrochem, or most of them, they've gone, they've attacked them, brought their belongings and burned them into ashes. There is evidence that they killed somebody and then they drag him into the concession, claiming that the police shot the person in our site. And investigation revealed that the bullet is not even police bullet. And investigation indicated that even the dead body was dragged into the concession. And you know why they did that? Because in the 80s, similar incident happened, and then the concession was closed completely. So that was exactly the intent.
Who conducted this investigation to draw this conclusion? That
Ghana Police Service.
And they said it was Ahuma and his people who did it.
He didn't say Ahuma, but he said that the dead person was killed somewhere and dragged into the concession, and that the bullet that was used was not police bullet. That was the conclusion.
So you don't want your lease.
I cannot speak to that.
But so you don't want no. So I want to find out from you. You don't want your lease to be put on hold.
Of course, we have invested over 120 million US dollars, right? And these are bank loans. These are equity investment and all that. That payment will continue on those leases. So if you put the lease on hold, so what does that even say about our process of awarding money leases?
All right.
So,
I'm grateful to you, but let me bring in Abraham Ahuma here. Ahuma, so how do you respond to the, what Mr. Adam was saying there?
This will never happen in this country.
We are burning things and we are spoiling things. Tell him straight that he should be careful and he should withdraw that word. I am on the ground before he came. He didn't know anything, whatever has happened by killing the person. He is not aware. He's a new CEO. And tell him he should withdraw that thing that he said, I, Abraham, Ahuma, and my people, we are killing the people. Or we are burning their things. Tell him to withdraw before I'll continue to say next thing.
Once the police didn't mention his name, you mentioned it. It's right that you withdraw that one. Yeah.
Didn't mention his name, and on top of that, the police report is there.
Tell him to withdraw
for anybody to look at.
No, Mr. Adam, you said that the police didn't mention his name, but you did.
No, they didn't. They didn't.
Exactly.
I didn't say him or for that matter, Asla. But what I'm saying here is that the police established that the body was killed outside the concession and dragged into the concession, and that the bullet that hit the person is not the police.
Okay, I hear. I'm grateful to you. Let me bring in Lante Vanderpoel, who has been speaking against this, this finding by this committee. So, what's your area of digression from what the committee put out there?
Well, thank you very much. Let me say this clearly. As a Ghanaian, I'm not against any investment into utilizing our natural resources for the benefit of the country. But then I'm also totally against the situation whereby investment, whatever form it takes, will deny my people of their livelihood. God created us and put the people of Ada where they are. He invested in them the trust of their livelihood through the Songo Lagoon. Over the years, governments have come in. Various policy decisions have been taken on Songo. But I thank God that with the advent of Jerry John Rawlings, the people of Songada and the Songo area started having peace and started enjoying the fruits of their labor and the natural resources God has given them. Successive governments have come in. Even though the resource is not being utilized the way we thought it would be. It is good that government would decide that, look, let's bring in an investment that will help us utilize and maximize output from this resource. That is good. But any policy like that should not deny the people, the indigenous people, their right to also live and depend on that resource for their livelihood. The people of the area, this is the only thing they have done generations. From our great-grandfathers, I am the son of the soil. From our great-grandfathers, this is where we have lived and this is what we have lived on. So you cannot just come in and deny us the right to this resource without appropriate compensation. 2, if you have come in, there is a lay-down mechanism that has existed that has made sure there is peace and tranquility in the area. That is a part of the concession have been reserved for the indigenous people to mine. 2, successive governments have come out to say that, look, this new type of production of the salt with the use of other chemicals and things is not the best for our human development. But the indigenous way of mining the salt preserves the quality of the salt and enhances human health. So we can't continue to be producing the salt in that manner. That also negates what is good for human consumption. So we can't look at only the commercial interest and forget about the human interest. The local people are now being denied access to the concession that have been reserved for them, so that they can also enjoy parts of this natural resource.
Mr. Van der Poel, are you saying that the operations of Electrochem is rather done with chemicals that are not good for human consumption?
I've not said Electrochem.
Okay.
I'm saying studies have shown that production of salt in that sort of manner, in this modern manner, trends, do not inure to the benefit of human health, because it is meant for commercial production, the oil industry, and other aspects. You understand?
So which modern
production continue to help preserve human life?
Which company is using modern methods in the area? Mr. Van der Poel. Mr. Van der Poel. Okay, I think we'll have a challenge with Neelante Van der Poel there. This has been top story. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. It's just unfortunate that we couldn't wrap up with Mr. Van der Poel. He was making some point and we wanted some clarification. But okay, so he's still with us. Let me try and wrap up with him. So you were talking about new methods of mining the salt that is not hygienic for human consumption. I'm asking you, which company in the area is using new methods to mine?
I'm not saying a particular company in the area. I'm saying studies have shown that this modern trend of mining the salt, which is only meant to satisfy commercial demands, especially for the oil industry, do not preserve the human health of the people in the area, because they can't wholly depend on that salt.
Really?
So there's a need for the encouragement of the local production, which do not add too much chemicals to the product, and it comes in its natural form, which is good for human consumption.
Which report said this? Because we have to be careful with what we put out there.
I'm talking about studies that came up and that led to the decision of the then PNDC government in preserving 11,000 acres out of the 41,000 hectares for indigenous production of salt.
Okay. So your point is that Electrochem, that we have to
long ago, from the time of Kutua Champong.
Okay.
Through Rollins.
Okay.
Through Rollins.
So your point exactly is that we should reserve the 11,000 acres for the indigents?
The people should continue to have access to the 11,000 hectares, so that they will continue to produce in the indigenous way, which will preserve the natural element of the salt, which is good for human consumption.
Okay.
So that we can look at the 30,000 producing the commercial needs of those oil industries and the rest, so that we can also have the resources we need, the foreign exchange we need. Oh, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
But my second issue today raised in Parliament is the fact that people should stop abusing our people. The abuse of their fundamental human rights, the harassment, cannot be tolerated anymore.
Okay, all right.
In the name of, there is no justification in the name of any investment can justify abuse of the human rights of the indigenous people.
Mr. Van der Poel, I'm grateful to you for your thought here on Top Story. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Remember, Top Story is always brought to you by Telecel, Connecting Energies, and Holy Insecticide Spray and Coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Up next is Ghana Connect with Kweku Asante. Good evening.